Survival mode can be physical or emotional or mental, sometimes even spiritual. It's the just state that you enter into where you're just operating on the bare minimum just to get by, just to see the next day.
What is
Right.
important to remember, though, is survival is not the final destination.
Right.
Thriving is.
I had to make a choice whether I was going to lay down and be, resolute in a matter or do something about it.
One of the things that I took note of, I don't know what you heard just now. I didn't realize I muted myself. So I'm going to start over and I'll edit it out.
Every time you use a drug, what you're doing, you're trying to mask some sort of hurt, some sort of unresolved trauma. Because here's the thing, especially if you have people in your life that are not supportive, because the drug didn't judge you. The drug is not going to ridicule you. So
And
this world has a problem with accountability. I had to go in the bathroom and look in the mirror and be like, you know what? I'm responsible for this part of it. I'm responsible for this part of it.
and as I sat in that jail cell, I had to come to terms with the fact that although I was not primarily responsible for being in the jail that day,
Mhm.
my decision led me to a place where I trusted this man when I knew I shouldn't have. The biggest addiction in the world is blame. And
Right. Well, the thing about that makes blame so attractive to people is that if you're able to blame someone else, that means you don't have to address the issue that's causing you the problem in the first place. Recovery is a daily endeavor. It's not something you do for a week and you're good. No, there has to be a conscious effort to endeavor upon your recovery every day.
recovery, just like healing, is an everyday process. There isn't this destination where all of a sudden we're healed. All of a sudden we've recovered.
You get deep into addiction, your whole way of life, from the way you eat, the way you think, the way you bathe, everything gets altered, and you're really having to relearn how to live again.
Recovery isn't a band-aid. It isn't, you can't just put a band-aid on it and just act like it didn't exist. There are triggers, there are things that can easily cause a relapse if they
Right.
aren't dealt with. We can change what we cannot see. And what I've seen in the recovery process from someone standing on the sidelines and just observing is very much that awareness.
It also involves a death. It's the death of a lot of bad habits, a lot of old ways of thinking, a lot of old coping mechanisms. If you have a permissive mother and she might yell and scream, but she gives you $30 so you can go get high, that may be a relationship that you may inevitably lose because it's unhealthy, and it was work to your detriment.
I think there is this saying, you cannot heal in the same environment that traumatized you.
I look at my mental illness as a medical condition. It's something I have to take medicine for, something I have to go to therapy for, something I have to talk to my doctors about. I have to manage it. When I really realized that no one's going to do it for you, that no one's going to make sure that you're bipolar okay is okay. No one's going to come behind you and make you, so once I really learned I'm responsible for how I feel, and once I really decided to take control of what I could control as far as how I felt every day, I'm not going to feel right. Once I started to accountability, I took
Hmm.
accountability for myself. So that
Hmm.
was my aha moment.
Hmm.
A certain amount of humility comes before accountability. You have to be real with yourself and just be able to say, hey, you know what? When I yelled at my wife and I was wrong for that, I was on some BS. When you're in the depths of what you got going on, sometimes just knowing you're not the only one can help you keep your head above water, because that's when we feel our most alone, our most beaten, our most defeated, in those quiet moments. But the key is to provide him a safe place where he can do that in a way that's befitting and proper to him.
I think when we talk about like self-actualization, like it's something that for me have been drilled into me from my very first encounter with psychology, like this
Hmm.
Maslow's pyramid and self-actualization, I think is getting to that point where you see beyond your healing. Because I think oftentimes, as we said at the beginning, a lot of us suffer in silence so much that without someone who has been through what we've been through or been through where we are aspiring to be, it
Hmm.
often makes it quite difficult. You are solid as a rock until you
Hmm.
close that door and you are by yourself. So,
Right. So, we have to change that way of thinking of that we're always the only ones. We can learn to be vulnerable in safe spaces to where we can catch people before they crack.
mhm,
Because especially with black men, we usually don't catch them until they've already done something, until it's already too late. We can
mhm,
provide more vulnerable, safe spaces, more sanctuaries, and be a harbinger for them, mentally and emotionally. We can catch it before they crack.
mhm.
We can prevent the all the things that come with a man breaking. If you're not responding, you're doing it wrong. That means you're reacting. You never want to react. You always want to respond.
You know?
We get so used to being at war that it's hard for us to come home and take that armor off.
Mhm.
And it has to come off piece by piece. And as it comes off piece by piece, and we realize the war is over, we can settle the chaos in our minds and kind of relax.
George, I've enjoyed this conversation. So tell us how we can find you online and a little bit more about what you do in your nonprofit.
Be patient with yourself. We're all on a journey of healing. We're all on a journey of ambition, of ascension, and discovery. So, no matter what stage of life you're going through, just be patient with yourself. It's your journey. Don't compare yourself to the person next to you. You're not them.